Good morning, everybody. Orange here with another Etheria Restart video, and today it is the start of a new week in Etheria Restart, which means all of our shops have refreshed, or at least the ones that refresh every week. We have access to some lattices that we didn't have access to yesterday, and this week my big question is, and a question I think a lot of people ask themselves every week, is which characters do I start investing lattices in? Last week for me, I had been saving some up for Yelly. I got her skill 3 to level 5, I got her skill 2 to level 5, and I'm really debating, like, I have 5 lattices again. I bought the one in the weekly reset shop, and I had enough points in all of the like exchange shops, cashed them all in. So I have 5. I could max level her level 1 arrow spark, which is something I'm considering doing, or I'm considering walking in to a new SR character or SSR character like a Rosa to start using her if Yelly can't be like my main solo carry. Now, my personal goal this week, and this will be the thing that's different for everybody watching this video, is like, what content are you currently trying to push? For me, there is one Inferno stage, Aurora, that I just haven't cleared yet. Okay, there's a couple like shell farming Inferno stages, but I'll worry about those next week or in a month or something. Anyway, I can't clear Aurora Inferno, and I was going through here, these like recent clear lists, looking for, you know, who's not using Lily, and if they're not using Lily or they're not using Tsukiyomi, who are they using? Like, who can I build up? And I've been telling y'all that Yelly is like OP, and there are a lot of like solo Yelly carry comps out there, and I can build these. Like, I can build a Yelly good enough to solo carry on Inferno. So what am I missing? Like, what pieces do I need to use to fill in that puzzle? I have Lingluo. Everybody has Lingluo, but one thing you'll notice about like well-built Lings is they max their skill 1. By maxing skill 1 on Ling, you get that whale prayer to be better and extend to 2 turns. This is a huge deal for this fight in particular, and for just making her into like a god tier healer. Now, I don't have as good of a shell as this person does, but I have the lattices. If I wanted to max out Ling's skill 1, which just kind of feels bad, like, I'm not gonna lie, maxing out a healer's skill 1 feels kind of bad, but if that's what I need to push through Aurora, maybe I'll do that. And that's why I'm like running you guys through my thought process right here. I want to hear what you have to say, and I want you to see what I'm kind of thinking about here too. Something I've seen a lot of in Aurora is a double heal comp. I have Mia, and one of the great things about Mia is I never see any Mia with skills leveled up, so I don't even need to worry about that. She's OP at skill 1. Now, with my SR lattices, because we did get I was zeroed out. I leveled Chiaki the Echo up last week almost all the way, zeroed me out on purple lattices. But Viper, man, Viper, you guys, is so dang good, and leveling his skill 3, getting that cooldown reduction down to 3 turns, increasing the dispels to 2, this seems like almost a must-have for this fight if you want that consistent dispel. Even though I have Heinrich, like, having Viper just counterattacking all of the time, getting those dispels going, I feel like maybe I want to throw some investment into the Viper. Chiata is another character that I've thought of investing into, but she's a very heavy investment with perfect lattices, and I would need to take her to level 50. She's only level 45 for me, so that's a little bit of a turnoff there. And then otherwise, man, I'll tell you what, if I had a Tsukiyomi, I would certainly considering leveling her to at least 5 stars, but I still just haven't caught one of those. So there's kind of like the way I go about looking at who I'm going to level up next. If I want to just dive in a little bit deeper, like, here are the characters I'm really considering. Rosa, for like running maybe a double carry kind of comp, but my fear there is, I think to get the most DPS out of Rosa, you would need to max her skill 3 to take advantage of Revelation, make this a 3-turn cooldown, so you're doing those massive AoE Revelation procs every 3 turns. I mean, that's insane. She also provides the buffing for your group, but the crit rate buff doesn't synergize super well with Yelly, because Yelly will always have her own crit rate. However, the her passive does synergize well with Yelly, because Bladeheart Bloom increases the damage the mobs take from basic attacks, and Yelly's constantly basic attack following up. So the deal with Rosa, if I chose to go that route and try to run like a double carry for Aurora, I feel like I would need to level both her skill 1 or her skill 2 and skill 3, and maybe even skill 3 first. I don't know, it's a huge investment, and I'm only sitting on 5 perfect lattices, which is a lot, but it's not the 8 that I would need to max 2 skills. So that's one area where I'm looking. I'm always, every week I look at Messiah. And I'm like, man, do I just want to like max this skill 3, make him into just this like cleaving god? I'm further and further away from that right now because of how good Yelly is. She's kind of filled Messiah's role on my team. So I'm a little bit further away from that. I always think about Doki, but I almost feel like she's a character that doesn't need it. I already mentioned Chiata. Then guys, like there's a character down here that I've wanted to build since day one, and that's Veronica. But it's so like when I can't even clear all the farming content in the game, it makes me feel hesitant to start leveling into an SSR character that like I feel like I would just be using for PvP, even though you do see her pop up in some Inferno Terramaton comps. Maybe she's like maybe like a next week or next couple weeks target for me after I get a couple other things lined out. Then for SR characters, y'all no lie, Chiaki looks insane. Like I underestimated when this game started like how good Chiaki was, and I felt like I was already pretty high on her. Her little dolls, her origami guardians, 35% damage reduction is bonkers good. Like it's crazy. Now if she's running alongside like a Ling Luo, it's hard to see how anybody kills anybody. If you have a well-built Ling and a well-built Chiaki, how's anybody dying? The only reason I'm hesitant to build her up is because I do have the Mia, and with the Mia you get this cooldown reduction with her heal that is just so important, especially if you're running those like revelation based carries. Getting your next round of revelation a turn earlier is nuts. And if you run Mia on this shell, which I can Codex of Magic, you can have her double cast her heal straight away. And if you can time that right, you are just getting your DPS rotated so much faster. So Mia is really an OP unit, but I'll tell you guys what, if I didn't have Mia, like this would be a definite target for me. Otherwise, my two areas that I'm looking right here, and I want to hear what you guys think. Yang. I would have already, no lie, I'd have already leveled Yang if I didn't hate the way he looked. Like I just don't love his design. But like this buff, attack and crit rate up, the attack buff is really nice. The crit rate buff, I feel like most of my damage dealers can kind of provide that for themselves. So I don't know about that. But this turn meter, his skill 3, man, oh man, especially for a fight like Aurora where he can be your dispeller and a turn meter booster and a buffer, that seems really good. Like maybe have him alongside Viper, but I could just use Heinrich, and like Heinrich's also amping damage with his thing. So I don't know, there's that one. And then I already talked about my guy Viper right here. Like, come on, we all know what Viper can do. Massive dispelling counterattack guy. And then there's Obel. Like, I don't know that I need to level Obel, but I want to level Obel because I just love his kit. More dots, more crowd control. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm going to wait to do any of this until I read what you guys have to say, but I wanted to walk you through like the way I go about looking at who I'm going to invest into next. I look at a fight that I currently can't clear, and I know you can't like see it because my camera's blocking, but believe me when I say that right there, you can see right underneath my picture, no stars filled in and the word Inferno. Everything else I've got, I can auto, but I really want to start getting access to like the Smite core and the Colossal Wall core and building some PvP sets out of this gear in here. But I'm hesitant to throw my currency at 2 Matrix pieces of gear. I want more reliable 3-piece drops, even though in Inferno you can still get 2-piece drops, which feels like a huge kick in the nuts. All right, so that's my thought process, guys. That's what I'm looking at. That's kind of the current like state of my roster. Let me know what y'all think in the comments section below. Good luck building any units that you're building this week. Grind out those, find the ways that there are out there to get the lattices. Yeah, realize I like jacked up my camera there, but find all the lattices that you can. Ember Trek resets tomorrow, so you can run through normal Ember Trek again if you haven't claimed your lattices, and then run through hard as far as you can. Like, I'm gonna really try and get this killed today so I can get this evolution lattice, because I want to have, ideally, I want every SR character built at some point. It's just taking so long to build them up, and there's so much power in those skill level ups. That's really what you got to do. All right, thank y'all for watching. Have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you next time. Peace.